Hey everybody, welcome. Today it's just one bald guy talking hockey with the GM of the Washington Capitals, Gage. I don't know if you want if you want me saying your last name, so I'll just
No,
call you Gage.
I don't care. Call me whatever you want.
Maybe they'll track you down for those warrants that you have outstanding on you or something.
Yeah, no, for sure. My last name's on the website. It's chill. They're fine. On YouTube though, it's okay. It's okay. I'm sure you've said my last name before.
I'm sure. Okay, so
Fuck.
Gage is joining me today to go over his team's draft, and he's the first team to GM to do this. And I'm hopeful that we can get a few more of you guys to try this because I think it'll be kind of fun to go over how you felt your draft went and why you took the players you did and that kind of conversation. So we'll get started here, and we'll have we'll have a nice conversation, I think. So
Yeah, it'd be
start
fun.
with that, and then we'll go right into the slideshow. And there we go. So, Gage,
Yes, yes,
all
yes.
in all, you had a good draft. You felt it was good.
I felt really good about my draft. Yeah, I got a lot of guys I wanted. I didn't miss out on a lot of guys that, I wanted. Like I really did kind of just get every pick I wanted when I got it. It was really
Oh, good,
nice. It worked out.
good. Okay, so we'll get started here with what were your goals going into the draft here? Were you looking for specific players, positions? What you made a bunch of trades to get to move up and things like that. So maybe you can just
Yeah.
go over what your goals were.
Yeah. So as you know, I had a lot of picks before trading all of them away, thinking, oh, I don't like this draft class that much. It's not a cheap draft. But then I, I made all those trades, but like I didn't feel as connected to the players as when I do like drafting them. So I kind of wanted to just like trade them away for as many picks as I could get and just like kind of start a little fresh, if that makes sense. Like I kind of took a step back this rebuild, I think, or this draft, but I think it was for the betterment of my team. As far as what my goals were going into the draft, I focused a lot on upside for this draft and like potential. And a lot of my guys are long-term projects to this draft. I feel like I want to get those kinds of players out of the way early, and not and later on I can focus more on like the more NHL ready players right away.
Yeah,
So
I see that with some of your picks. Like
yeah,
there's definitely some high upside swings there, which I like. So
mhm. Yeah, that was the main thing I was looking to do. As far as like positions, I didn't have any specific focus for most of the picks, but uh, with having William and Rinzel looking really good, going into this season, I didn't feel like any of the defensemen were like worth taking at the picks I had, you know, at like 14 and 15. I just didn't really care for the defensemen in this draft as much after Schaefer. So it just made like I just wanted to get two forwards and kind of make that pool deeper, especially after trading away like Longbear and uh, Blake, Blake, and like a bunch of other forwards I've traded. I've made a lot of trades. But
okay,
yeah. So I wanted to get a deeper like forward pool, and I already have a good amount of guys. I think will be like Casper's already bona fide top six. I think Chernyshov is going to be. I think Gritziuk has that potential. Chelnikov has that potential. So I wanted to take riskier guys. I didn't want to get safer picks, if that makes sense. Like I kind of wanted to gamble a little bit with my picks. Higher
cool.
upside,
Yeah,
lower
let's
floor, maybe.
let's let's look at each of those picks here individually, and maybe you can comment on what you like about this player or why you picked them or something like that. At 14, you took Lyndon Lakovic, who slipped quite a ways in the NHL draft, and I I was really I have no answer as to why he slipped, but
Yeah, it,
at
it still doesn't
14, I
really
think
make
that was a I like him at 14. So
sense. Yeah, for him, I had him as my number 10 in the whole draft. He was in my top 10, just barely. Um, but yeah, like I liked him more than guys like McQueen. I liked him more than Brady Martin. I liked him more than I almost liked him more than Caleb Dignway, I think too, even. Like I really, really like Lakovic. I watched, a lot of videos about him, a lot of interviews with him. It was hard to find anything I didn't like about his overall game or him as a person. And like the only knock I see regularly is like physicality, right? Because he's 6'4", but he doesn't hit too much. But that like I'm not drafting him to be a power forward, and I don't think Washington really are either. I think he's like a top six scoring like finesse winger, you know. I think he's very much a Tage Thompson where like he's not the most physical player, you know. He's tall and he's a very good scorer. That's kind of
Yeah,
what I'm drafting him
he's
to be.
he's not cut out to be that physical Brady Martin type guy, but I mean he's
Yeah,
big, but he's really skilled.
right. And that's the appeal. I don't if he gets more physical, and he did show off more physicality in that there was like a CHL USA game. He got pretty physical. So if he can, then great. That's just a bonus to me. But that's not what I'm drafting him for. If I wanted that, I wouldn't have went with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, right one pick later, you took um well I think we can agree it was a bit of a reach. I don't know, like there's a lot of upside with Cullen Potter. A
Yeah.
lot of upside.
Yeah.
And he's one of the most skilled skaters in the draft.
Mhm.
He's I don't think it's a huge crazy reach, but you did draft him 16 picks earlier than what he went in the NHL draft, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. About 16 picks earlier, and like before the actual first pick Calgary made even went in the draft too, Reshny. And I did debate picking Reshny here. It was very close between like Potter, Reshny, and Kindell. I like Kindell a lot more than I think you guys did, from what I heard during the draft. But yeah, it was kind of between those three. But when I was watching each of them, I was just having so much more fun watching Cullen Potter. Like he's just such an entertaining player to watch. And it felt like if I didn't take him and I like and he hits that potential that he has and I missed out on that, I'd be kind of sad about it, you know? So for me, it
That's
was a
funny
lot
because
about the
I'm
upside that's
very
there.
much the same with why I draft the guys I do. Is I'm
Yeah,
drafting guys I like to watch play.
right.
And if I like a player, like watching a player, I mean, I took a big reach last year on Andrew Basha for
Mhm.
exactly what you're talking about, where it was, I
Yeah.
just like watching this kid play and I like how he plays. So, I mean, Cullen Potter does make sense. I don't think you're going to hate the fact that you made this pick.
No, no, not at all. And like the fact he was playing in the NCAA like so soon, like at 17, like he no one thought he would really like work out, you know? Like everyone thought it was like a little too soon for him, especially because he's shorter. But I mean, he's just so fast and so like electric. I don't know what it is. Like it's just like so fun to watch. I have nothing else to really say. Like yeah, I just see so much potential in every part of his game, and it's hard like to not want to take a chance on that, even
Yeah,
if maybe there are like I think Reshny would have been the safe pick here. Um, I didn't want the safe pick. I don't like Reshny as much. It's not as fun to watch for me as Potter is. I don't really know
yeah.
why, but that's just yeah. I just really like the player.
Okay. Now, I mentioned to you just before we went on air here, Titus Luke Koblar at 87. I love this pick. I really do. My
I'm
pick,
glad.
which was a couple picks before, I never looked it up to see exactly, but I took a goalie. And I actually spent a good chunk of time thinking, do I want to take Titus Luke Koblar? And I mean, I didn't take him. And I got to give you full marks for taking him. And what's funny is opposite of Cullen Potter, you're taking him about 20 picks after he went in the NHL draft. And I think you got
Yeah.
a very good value steal here.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people saw this pick as a reach in the NHL. I didn't really. I had him kind of in my second round, like kind of where Toronto took him, and that's where he went. And I was able to get that kind of like middle to late third round. Like I think that's really good value. And Toronto always makes these picks that are seen as like reaches. And I think I kind of talked about this briefly earlier too, but like I think Nice was seen as a reach. Cowan was seen as a huge reach whenever they drafted him. Fraser Minton, I think, was also seen as a reach. Ben Danford last year or 2 years ago, whenever he went, that was crazy. But then they all kind of worked out. Like Danford had a pretty good year too. Even like they know what they're doing with their picks, and I trust them to develop that. And on top of that, one of his teammates on like his Swedish team is a guy that Toronto drafted. So I'm guessing they watched him a lot throughout the year, just checking in on, I think it was Victor Johansson was his name. Um, they must have watched him a lot enough to like him enough to take him in the second round. I think that says a lot for him, and
And that
I
was
just
their
like the
first
player
pick
that he
too.
is. Yeah, yeah. I actually traded a second round next year for this pick and the next pick with Vancouver, I think it was, because I really wanted to take him and the other player that I took next.
Okay, well,
Um,
we can
yeah.
go right to that one if you want.
No, if
Good,
you wanted to
good
say anything
segue.
about Koblar first, but yeah, we could we could do that too.
Okay, again at 96, it's like you were looking at my draft board. Like I gotta say this. It's like you could see because Quinn Beauchesne or Beauchesne, I don't know if he does the American pronunciation or the Canadian
He's
pronunciation,
he's
but
Canadian. I assume it's
this is
Beauchesne.
a huge upswing. Or like I think this kid's going to be great, and he's got a lot of development to go. But I think he's that like that's the kind of swing he took here. So I love this pick.
Mhm. I thank you. I'm glad you like this pick. Yeah, he was a guy I had ranked higher than where I took him to, and then Pittsburgh got him at like 148, I think, or like something crazy. He dropped a lot in the draft. I took him about 40 to 50 picks earlier. I don't regret it like at all, you know? Like I think he has a lot of skill. He's very aggressive, both offensively and defensively, and I like that kind of player. Those are the kind of defensemen I think like the kind of skills that translate really well in a defenseman over to the NHL. And like there's work to do, you know, but he just seems so like really good at everything, not really bad at anything from what I've seen. And he only got better too as the year went on. Um, yeah, I don't remember if I had anything else to say, but he's just a very good two-way defenseman, and I'm very excited to see how his speed and all those skills
Yeah.
translate. I'm a big fan of like skating as like a skill, like good skaters in the draft. So that's yeah, I mean I drafted Potter, you know, for the same reason really. So yeah, it's definitely what I look for in a defenseman. He has a lot of those qualities.
Okay. So
Mhm.
at 102, you took again looking at my draft board. 102, you took Shamar Moses uh, from North Bay. Did he play North Bay? Yes, he was on the battalion.
Yeah, yeah, the
Um,
battalion.
it says right here on my screen.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, lots. Like there's a lot of room for this kid to grow, and
Mhm.
I he's just got a lot of those skills that you're looking for. And I think this is a kid that
Yeah.
can. I think this is a top six player in the NHL if everything goes right.
I sure hope so. And he was drafted by Florida, which isn't a team I usually kind of target in like the draft. And funny enough, like my next guy is also drafted by Florida later in the draft. But I mean, he's just funny enough. I think his weakness is actually skating, even though I just said like skating is kind of what I look for. But he has everything else, and skating is coachable, like for sure. So for me, it's not the end of the world if they don't have it. And when like this guy, he's defensively sound. He has a really like strong, accurate shot. He's a good goal scorer, good passer, great passer even. Like I don't know. He just drove a lot of the offense for the team too. I just really like him, and I think at this pick it was a lot of just like it's not, it doesn't even really feel like a risky pick or anything. Like I know he went in the fifth round, I think, in the NHL draft. I don't, yeah, I
Where
I
you're
think
taking
he's
guys, every pick, like nobody's guaranteed. And
right,
you're
right,
at a point in the draft where you're picking guys for maybe, they're all maybes.
right,
And
exactly.
your guy, if he makes it, he's a top six forward. Like I don't know
Mhm.
that he's going to make it as a fourth liner. I think
Yeah,
it's a great swing for a guy that can be in your top six if he makes it.
yeah, yeah. And if he doesn't make it, then it's 102
What was, yeah, is
overall.
that a fourth round? Is that fourth round?
Yeah,
102?
yeah, I think so. Beginning of the fourth
Yeah.
ish. Yeah, yeah. I was very happy with my draft overall.
And
Yeah,
once again, look, sneaking, copying off of my draft board, Arvid Drott, uh, another great Swede, actually.
yeah,
And
yeah.
he went really late in the NHL draft, and I don't know why he slipped
I
as
don't know
far as he
either.
did.
Yeah, it's I remember seeing draft boards where he was ranked in like the second round. So I was expecting him to go pretty early. And then he went in the sixth. So I was gonna take him earlier, but I thought I want to see if I can get away with not taking him, you know? And I got away with it. So
Yeah.
that was really nice. He is also just a really aggressive player. I like whenever a player is like aggressive in a certain skill, like whether it's offense or defense or like whatever the case may be. Like he has skills that just translate really well. It's kind of like Casper. Casper's a very like feisty, aggressive player, and he reminds me a lot of that in the same way. Um, and yeah, I just really like the kind of player that he is. Like the kind of that kind of forward is just so like necessary for like the playoffs, and like I think it's something that teams really value, and I really value it a lot too. So I just think he has a really good chance of making it, even if he is, a sixth round pick. I don't think, yeah, it's hard to even,
This year's draft had a whole lot of guys that were ranked really high on one board and really low on other boards. And
yeah.
you go with your guy. And I love this pick. I really do. As your first five picks here, I love what you were doing.
I appreciate that.
Okay, and yet again, I actually was hoping that this guy would slip to the seventh round because Pateri Rimpinen, I believe, is a future NHL goalie. So
I He wasn't gonna be like I considered him with 102 overall, with the pick I used for Shamar Moses, but I thought I took a risk thinking maybe I can wait until 134. And then at one point I did trade for this pick back. So that was a big reason for why, was because I wanted to get Rimpinen and like another one of the forwards that I got, like one of Drod or Moses or whatever happened around these picks. So like a lot of the trades I did, all of them worked out really well. And for Rimpinen, I was so happy to get him because I think having a third goalie prospect is like very good. And I think like with Knight already in the NHL, Augustine coming in a couple of years, I think the timing works out really well for Rimpinen to have like time to develop in like Finland or whatever he decides to do if he does NCAA. And then I just think he's so technically sound as a player. Like he's not the biggest goalie. It's kind of the same as Trey Augustine. I see him, they're very similar. Like Augustine is on another level right now, I think. But I mean, Rimpinen was in the same tournament as Augustine and he won goalie of the tournament. So I think they're very similar, but that's kind of why I targeted him, was because he has such a, I don't know. I'm having a hard time putting it into words right now, but he's just very
oh
technically sound, you know?
yeah, I I I saw him in some lists ranked second round, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
saw him in one goalie specific list in the top five goalies.
Oh,
Which
wow.
I mean, when you look at
Wow,
the
that's
goalies
good.
in this draft, for him to be in the conversation of top five goalies is saying something. So
Right.
I was really big on Pateri Rimpinen myself. So good job there. Well done.
Thank you. Thank
Um, and now we're gonna get into the the most interesting
you.
pick of your entire draft because a I had no idea who this kid was, and when I saw what you picked, I actually was looking into it, and he was drafted by the Boston Bruins, and all the Boston Bruins fans are like, "Who the hell is this kid?" Which is why this picture I got up here. Who is this kid, Gage? Who did you draft
Yeah.
at 151?
Yeah, so at 151, I drafted Bashik Flinar, or I think he recently changed his name from Bashik Richards, from what I understand. He is a, he was drafted 100th overall by the Boston Bruins, and he was not on my radar at all. I didn't know who he was either. I hadn't heard anything. But then like all the development camps started and Bruins fans could not shut the fuck up about this guy. They were talking about how he's like the best defenseman at the camp, and granted they don't have that many prospects right now, but it's still saying something, this random fourth round that no one knows. And then they posted like clips and he was doing like spinoramas and he was doing like some crazy shit and he was doing it so well. It was very Eric Carlson like. And I'm not saying he's as good as Eric Carlson, don't get me wrong. It's like he emulates the play style a little bit, but the potential is there, and like he looks like a lot of fun. I didn't know much about him, and there's still not that much info out about him. But I don't know, I'm just gambling on potential that Bruins fans saw, that their scouts liked enough to take it 100. Like 100 is high, like it's not that high in theory, but well, when there's over 200 picks and if no one knows this guy, they could have taken him in the seventh, right? So why did they take him in the fourth? That's like,
I liked
there's
him.
mystery to this pick, and I
Yeah.
like that.
Well, I will. It is a pick that over the years I will be tracking myself because
Oh yeah,
this one I had never heard of this guy at all, and here he
no,
is getting
no.
picked. So there you go.
Yeah, and
Okay,
he was actually
179. Sorry.
just before that, he was actually the BPA when I made the pick. So I was really worried that he was gonna like get taken BPA and then someone else would get him. And
Yeah.
because I actually didn't really want to take him. I considered it earlier because Boston took him earlier, and I know there's at least one Boston fan in the group. I don't know if there's more. Not that Nathan has picks, but I really wanted to get him and just follow along for the ride, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, on
Well,
to the next one.
kudos.
Yeah,
Okay, Kale Doc. First question I had was, is he related?
yeah, no, he is not related. He's from the same area, um, in Canada, I think it was Saskatchewan or something. I don't know where, to be honest, but they're from the same area, but they are not related, apparently. Yeah,
And you chose
that's
him because
uh So he had something like 86 points in like 50 something games in the British Columbia like junior hockey league or whatever. And he didn't even have the most on his team. The guy that had the most on his team went earlier in the NHL draft and went undrafted in our draft. His name is Jeremy Larange. Um, but Kale Doc he has a more like complete game, I guess you could say. And what interested me most about him is the path he is on, I guess. So for this coming season, as you can see on screen, signed an agreement to play with the Calgary Hitmen. So he's going to be there for this season. He was drafted by the Penguins alongside Ben Kindell, who also plays for the Hitmen. And I think one's going to rub off on the other, so I'm hoping. Um, I think there's a chance they even play together. because like I said, he had like 86 points in like 50 something games. Like he kind of popped off in his league, right? So there's potential there. And I want to see how that goes. But then next year after that, he's already committed to Penn State in the NCAA. So he's
Oh
going to go to
wow.
Penn State, which this year, I mean, I don't think McKenna's going to be there longer than the 1 year, to be honest with you. But this year they have McKenna and a bunch of other really good players. I don't really remember. I think Jackson Smith was one of them too. So it's
Yeah,
going to
they
be a
put a lot of
very,
money into their program at Penn
yeah,
State.
yeah. So it's going to be interesting that he's going into two different like leagues, but on teams that I think will be really good for his development. And it's just a bet on potential at 179. I did trade two picks for this, sixth and a seventh next year. I don't really care about those picks, you know. So for me, like, why not take a bet on a guy that, was well over a point per game and
Yeah.
has a very interesting path ahead of him.
Okay. Good.
Yeah,
And that was your last pick.
yeah, yeah.
So we'll just summarize everything here. How did it go? Were you happy?
I was very happy with my draft. Like I said, I got pretty much everyone I wanted, and I mean, I mean, well, obviously would have been nice to have first overall, but you live and you learn. And I think with what I had, I got the best players or the players that I wanted with the picks that I had, you know?
Yeah.
And then
What grade would you give yourself? Like how
great.
maybe not yourself, but your draft class. What grade would you give that draft class? For the
Uh,
picks you had and for what you ended up with? What letter
I
grade would
mean,
you give yourself?
I mean, it's hard not to want to give myself an A. I'm very happy with what I got. I maybe an A minus. I'm trying to be humble here, but like I don't know. I really liked my draft. I wasn't unhappy with any single pick I made. Like maybe it would have been nice if like Victor Eklund dropped to me or like one of the top 10 that I had dropped to me. But
Well,
at the end of the day,
we'll have to get the Nashville GM on, who actually is the
yeah.
one that took Victor Eklund. But
Yeah, he had a really good draft. He really,
yeah,
I really think I want to see an episode and hear his thoughts on the picks because I mean he already did a really in-depth article, so I know his thoughts on the picks. But you know,
okay.
that's a great
What's
article by the way.
next?
If you're watching this, good job. What is next for my team? Hopefully Gavin McKenna. That would be great. We're in the Trevor Van Riemsdyk era of the Washington Capitals, and as far as what's next, I'm looking forward to free agency whenever that is. There's a lot of really interesting players in free agency, you know. I don't know if you're talking about what's next prospect wise or what's next for the
Well, what
team,
what?
but
See, that's fine. Like either it's sort of
yeah,
what what directions are you thinking of going? What do you foresee happening? That kind of thing.
yeah. Well, since this is going to be one of the like not popular UFA signings during our FA, I'm just going to say now I've heard rumors, I've heard reports that James Van Riemsdyk wants to play with his brother for the next 2 seasons. So, well, maybe we'll see that
There you
happen in
go.
Washington.
You
As
heard it
far
here
as like,
first, folks.
yeah, yeah, that's a Two Bald Guys exclusive. Um, as far as what else is next, prospect wise, I'm really looking forward to this year. Rinzel, Bouillon, potentially Danielson, potentially Chernyshov being like they're going to be in the AHL for sure. They might be in the NHL.
I think
Who else?
Williams in the NHL. I I think he's an NHL defenseman this year.
Oh, Bouillon and Rinzel both are for sure, and they're both going to be like top power play too, which is like crazy. They might not be all year, but to start the year they will be, which is going to be really nice. And then Gritzio, I almost forgot about him. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but the New Jersey Russian guy, Gritzio. I'm very excited to see how he plays. I hope he can play well enough to get a spot next to Jack Hughes, and I know New Jersey's been looking for a winger for him for a long time, alongside him and Pratt. So I'm hoping he can be the answer, and if he can, then I mean that's just going to be amazing for my team. So lots to look forward to this year. I'm really excited for the season to start. It feels like since the draft, I've had nothing hockey related going on, and it's been really boring. So just looking forward to the season mostly.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
thank you very much, Gage, for doing this. I really
yeah,
appreciate it. You're the first one. Again, hopefully we
got it.
can talk a few other guys into doing this.
That'd
And
be nice. Yeah,
really wish you well, I guess wish you luck on maybe getting Gavin McKenna. If that's
yeah.
if that's
Thank
your
you.
goal for the year.
That would be so nice. Imagine a line of Casper, McKenna, and like Chernyshov. Ooh, that would be good. That would be good.
And I'd be
That's a
much
line up.
happier if he wasn't in the Atlantic Division. So there is that.
Yeah, well, he's still in the East, you know. He's still got to play me a couple times a year, maybe in the playoffs, you know. You never know. You never know.
You never know. Okay, so we'll wrap it here and we'll say goodbye and thanks a lot. We'll see